The humid Louisiana night clung to Jamal Winslow's skin as he drove through the quiet streets of Baton Rouge. The flickering glow of traffic lights painted the asphalt in alternating red and green. He wasn't thinking about courtrooms, prosecutions, or injustice, just the long day behind him and the comfort of his bed ahead. Then came the flashing lights. Jamal's grip tightened on the wheel. He hadn't sped, hadn't run a light. His car had just passed inspection. But reason had never been a requirement for a badge and a uniform. 2 officers approached. Kyle Driscoll, broad-shouldered with a military cut, loomed at the driver's side. Brent Kessler, leaner but no less imposing, hovered near the passenger door. License and registration. Driscoll's voice was clipped. Jamal handed them over. Mind telling me why I was stopped? Your taillight's out. A lie. Jamal could see the reflection of his fully functional brake lights in the rearview. You sure about that? Driscoll's jaw twitched. Step out of the vehicle. Jamal's muscles coiled. He'd prosecuted cases like this, routine stops that spiraled into violence. He knew the law. Knew he didn't have to comply without probable cause. I'm not stepping out until you give me a lawful reason. Kessler smirked, fingers brushing his belt. Because we said so. Then Driscoll yanked the door open. Jamal's seatbelt locked as the officer grabbed his wrist, wrenching him forward. What the hell? Kessler was on him in seconds, twisting his arm behind his back. The cold bite of handcuffs dug into his skin. You're resisting, Driscoll hissed. Jamal's pulse roared, not from fear but fury. They thought this was just another night. Just another man they could break. They had no idea who they'd just arrested. The East Baton Rouge Parish Courthouse buzzed with the usual monotony, clerks shuffling papers, lawyers murmuring deals, the occasional cough echoing off marble floors. But today the air crackled with something else. Jamal sat at the defense table, his suit sharp, his posture rigid. Not as the prosecutor this time. As the accused. Charges: resisting arrest, obstruction, disorderly conduct. All fabrications. At the front, Judge Margaret Holloway, iron-haired, sharp-eyed, notorious for her impatience with frivolous defenses, barely glanced at him. Prosecutor Richard Calloway strutted like a man who'd already won. Your Honor, this is a straightforward case. The defendant escalated a routine stop, forcing officers to act in the interest of public safety. Jamal's public defender, Thomas Rivera, shot up. Objection. There's zero evidence my client was aggressive. Holloway waved him off. Overruled. Driscoll took the stand first, smooth as ever. The defendant was combative. Refused orders. We had no choice. Kessler nodded along. He tensed up. We feared for our safety. Jamal's fingers curled into fists. He'd spent his career fighting this exact corruption, knowing most victims never got their day in court. But he wasn't most victims. Rivera stood. The defense calls Jamal Winslow to the stand. As Jamal rose, the courtroom watched. The officers smirked. The judge sighed. Then Jamal reached into his briefcase and laid his federal prosecutor's badge on the stand. Silence. Calloway's face drained of color. Driscoll's knee began to bounce. Holloway's gavel hovered, frozen midair. I'm Jamal Winslow, he said, voice cutting through the room like steel. Assistant U.S. Attorney for the Southern District. The air shifted. The system had just trapped itself. By morning the story was everywhere. Federal prosecutor exposes corrupt arrest in stunning courtroom moment. The Baton Rouge PD scrambled. Holloway's chambers went radio silent. Protesters flooded the courthouse steps, demanding accountability. Then came the leaks, emails between officers coaching each other on probable cause. Dozens of past arrests with the same pattern. The same lies. Jamal watched it unfold from his apartment, phone buzzing nonstop. Calls from journalists, civil rights attorneys, strangers who'd endured the same injustice but lacked his badge. This wasn't just his fight anymore. The courtroom was packed. Holloway's face was unreadable as she set down her gavel. After reviewing the evidence, the court finds the defendant not guilty. A murmur rippled through the room. Then the hammer fell. This court will also refer all materials to the state attorney's office for further review. Driscoll's jaw locked. Kessler stared at the floor. Outside, cameras flashed. Reporters shouted. But Jamal didn't celebrate. Because one case wouldn't fix the system. But it proved the system could break. How many more stories like this go untold? If this made you pause, if it made you angry, then ask yourself, who else is out there without a badge to protect them? Share this. Talk about it. Demand the change Jamal forced into the light. Because justice shouldn't depend on the rank of the victim. It should be for everyone.